All right, it is 4:05. We're running just a little bit late. This is the special city council meeting of September 28th, 2020. We're having a special city council meeting today. According to Minnesota statute 13D.021, it allows meetings to be conducted over the phone or other electronic means under the following conditions. The mayor has determined an in-person meeting or a meeting conducted under section 13D.02 is not practical due to a health pandemic. The mayor and all councilors participating in the meeting can hear one another and hear the discussion. We do have Councilor Buller, which is zooming in with us, and we can hear him and he can hear us, so that is good. The audience by the public is not feasible due to a health pandemic. Just a reminder, we do allow audience to come to our council meetings, so that is available. All votes will be conducted by a roll call, and everyone needs to be identified and recorded. We do have 3 items on our special city council meeting tonight. The first is the second and final reading of the contract ordinance 971 for a Pleasant Avenue water main project. Chair would entertain a motion to have the second reading of the contract ordinance.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilor Deitch. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilor Briggs. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question.
Aye. 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 Aye.
And I will vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have the Human Resources Committee recommendation to hire a Public Works Supervisor. Public Works Director, do you want to come and give us an update?
Yes, thank you. After some long, it was a long process. We had a lot of good candidates. The hiring committee recommended that we hire Mike Wallace, who has worked for the city of South St. Paul for 17 years in the Public Works Department. He started out in the water and sewer, he's worked in the street department, and he's worked in the parks. We recommend that he starts at starting wage of $73,000.
When would the start date be?
It'd be the end of October.
Okay. Chair would entertain a motion to take the HR committee recommendation to hire the Public Works Supervisor.
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilor Kraus. Discussion. Hearing none, I will call the question.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain.
And I will vote yes. Motion carries 4 for the motion, 0 against the motion, and 1 abstention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have item number 3, review, discuss, and adopt a resolution approving the 2021 preliminary budget and levy. City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, the city has gone through the normal difficult exercise of looking at what we need to generate for monies to operate the city in the upcoming year, 2021. And all the department heads have submitted a series of budgets for the respective departments, and those went through an exhaustive review on the part of the Budget and Finance Committee, which is a committee of all of you. And we've made some modifications and some reductions. There were cuts in each of the departments, and I had gone through those previously in the Budget and Finance Committee meeting, totaling about $84,000. Almost $85,000, and then there were some reductions in appropriations to various partnership organizations or other agencies that we've provided monies to in past years. And then we had some conversation about the airport and the functions that are being undertaken at the airport with the taxiway reconstruction, the runway reconstruction in multiple phases over as many as 4 years. And so with that, the Budget and Finance Committee was recommending that the city, for the preliminary budget only, consider a 6% levy increase. And essentially, all of that increase would be designated for the airport should the city not get any bonding bill monies, which we've requested since the beginning of the legislative session last year, or this year in February. It hasn't been addressed by the legislature in 3 special sessions and the regular session. So we're still hoping. We had requested $2 million, of which $1 million would be available for the city to pay local share of costs and $1 million available to the county. So in the event that the legislature does not come to an agreement to appropriate some monies to help us offset our costs, we've budgeted some money to help us pay for the debt service on bonds that would have to be issued to pay for our local share. So I'm going to pass out something that the finance officer just handed me, passed it down. And what this particular document is Exhibit A for the budget and levy of 2021 for the City of International Falls. And this would show it shows a history of the levies from 2012 through the proposed 2021. It also shows the history of local government aid dollars that the city receives, and it appears right now that we're certified to receive a total of $4,382,111 for local government aid, which is state of Minnesota assistance directly to the city to help us fund our operations and expenses to operate the city. That is a $83,263 increase over the amount that we got in 2020, or a 2.02% increase. Again, going back to the levy, the 2021 levy will be $3,107,036, and that is an increase of $176,000 over the $2,931,036 that we levied in 2020. And that is a 6% levy increase. And again, that increase of $176,000 has been added to the airport city share, and we have that would be added to the operations and maintenance expenses, or that's, I'm sorry, for potentially paying debt service expenses on capital costs to do the runway reconstruction. Of that amount of $353,962, $177,962 is also the city's share for paying capital costs for 2021. So the action that the council is being asked to take, again, is to adopt the resolution that was in your packet. And in that resolution, it talks about a proposed levy for 2021. And the appropriate amount to put in there, again, is $3,107,036, an increase of $176,000 over 2020 for a 6% levy increase. And again, I just want to emphasize that this is a preliminary budget, and state statute allows the city and requires the city to submit a preliminary budget and levy to the county auditor by the end of this month, September. And then this amount will be used on the tax statements that are distributed to the taxpayers in November of this year. But the city has between now and its meetings in December for the Truth and Taxation hearing to reduce the levy if you choose to, but you cannot increase it. So the Budget and Finance Committee is recommending that we set the preliminary levy at a 6% increase with the hope that can be reduced, and that would be somewhat contingent upon whether or not the legislature appropriates money for bonding bill dollars to the city and the county for the airport improvements. I don't have anything else I'd want to add as part of my preliminary comments, Mr. Mayor. If there's a question of me or any of the staff that are present, we can try and answer those.
I have one question that I'd like you to answer, and I think it's key when people see that we're asking for a 6% levy increase, how we've come up to that number. Can you tell us how much we're pulling out of reserves to balance this budget for the year?
Yes, the amount, so what we did to try and keep the levy increase as low as possible, still meet the budgeted expenditures that we had, in light of the cuts that I talked about earlier on, but we're still proposing to take $125,999 out of reserves to help fund general fund activities. So we are actually spending down our fund balance in the general fund by that $1 short of $126,000.
Thank you. Does anybody on council have questions for Mr. Anderson in regards to the preliminary budget and levy? All right. Number one, I want to thank Councilor Kraus, who leads the Budget and Finance Committee for the city. I think this has probably been one of the most in-depth budgets that we've ever had. A lot of it has to do with the airport. A lot of it has to do with our road maintenance and the projects that we have moving forward to try to keep our infrastructure up. So I appreciate what he's brought to the table to be able to have us do essentially meetings every week for the last 6 weeks on the budget. So I appreciate him chairing it even after having his incident with his race car. He's still been 100% engaged in our community and being part of this process, and I think we've done a very good job. I also want to commend the city administrator, the deputy city administrator, and our finance officer for working all of these numbers. This has been probably one of the most difficult budgets that we've ever had to go through, because even though we have a proposed 6% levy increase, we ended up having to cut a lot of things out of this budget. And I don't even know how to put it in words on how difficult it's been to try to keep this as low as we can through COVID and everything that we've had thrown at us in the last year. So, number one, I appreciate the hard work from everybody to get to where we're at today. I want to echo the conversation that the city administrator had. This is a preliminary budget. We very well could get it down from the 6%. In fact, at the budget and finance meeting we had earlier today, that is 100% our goal, is to get it down below the 6%. Hopefully we can get some of the funds that the city administrator had spoke about with the airport. With that being said, any funds that come in, we may be able to offset what we're pulling from reserves to balance the budget. This is a preliminary budget, though. This 6% is as absolutely high as we can have it. It is our goal to get it down to a reasonable amount of maybe 2% or 3%, if not 0. So at this time, I would seek a motion to adopt the resolution approving the 2021 preliminary and levy at 6%.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilor Kraus. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilor Deitch. I can honestly tell you this is the first time I've ever sweated from having a motion, because this is a very tough budget that we put together. So, any discussion, questions, concerns from the council? Hearing none, I'll call the question.
Aye.
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 And I will vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Again, this is a preliminary budget. There'll still be meetings with Budget and Finance to see if we can't massage the budget to get that number down. With no other business on our agenda today, this meeting is adjourned.